Welcome to the Smorgasbord Podcast, episode 69, where we talk about a variety of different topics, uncensored, unedited, and unfiltered. Today we're with a guest, the first time ever, my mom. She's finally, after 69 episodes, or 68, excuse me, the memes, the jokes write themselves. I knew it was going to start that way. I figured you were going to make the joke first.
So it's 1979.
Well, we're 10 short, I guess. We'll come back for 79, I guess. I don't know what to tell you.
It's not an Oedipus thing.
It's not an Oedipus thing.
Start over.
We're leaving this all in. We're leaving it all in because that's what makes it great. That's what makes uncensored. We're leaving it all in. Yep. We're letting this run. Yeah, this is kind of the final video that I'm able to make. By the time this will be out, by the time you're seeing this, I'm probably already moved in to the dorms for the fall. And that's kind of what we're here to somewhat talk about. We couldn't really think of a specific topic. So, first, how are you dealing with? How are you handling the drastic changes? Obviously, I had a 2-month stint already in college. So, how is that leading up to that? Talk about that, and then all that.
Oh, you mean like when you first moved out, like how I reacted versus how I think I'm gonna react tomorrow?
Just in general, just all of it in general. Like obviously you got you got sick on the way there. That tends to be a trend.
In my defense, I was trying not to cry, and my body was like,
well, you have to give up something.
Yes, and so it caused me an embarrassing amount of anxiety, and I threw up on 400. I threw up in like 2 different bathrooms because I was just worried that my precious baby lamb was going to...
Keep in mind, I'm downtown. I'm 30 minutes with traffic. Keep in mind, I'm not out of state. I'm not going to some flyover state. I'm not gonna say any states, but I'm 30 minutes away. She could probably go. She can see me on her lunch break, and she's free.
But let's say it was a zombie apocalypse, it would take me maybe
the
2
same
hours
amount of time
to walk downtown to save you.
The same amount of time it would take without a zombie apocalypse because Georgia traffic. So it's about the same thing.
I missed you.
I'm not.
I
That's not
miss
a bad.
you.
That's
and
not
I'm
a bad
actually.
thing.
I think I'm gonna do better tomorrow, but no one believes that I will. I feel like it's I'm gonna be okay, and then Morgan Freeman comes in. He's like, but the fact was Denise was not okay, and I'm like, oh.
I mean, okay. So how was it leading up to it? Leading up to the first time, and then
Oh, the first time I couldn't stop crying. I couldn't stop crying every day over everything. It was oh, he's gonna leave, and then he's never gonna come home. And then you came home every weekend, and I was like, why are you always here? And then I was like, just kidding. And then now you were home for the summer, and now you're leaving again, and I'm sad again. So, because you're fun. I like having you around. You're fun. You make a lot of noise. You're fun. It's always been us, and it's fun.
I've been told that's a complaint.
No.
I'm very loud. At the same time, very quiet. It doesn't make any sense.
I like hearing your laughing and your music and everything that's going on. It fills the house. Because then when you leave, then I become a cat lady.
Oh my god. You have 2, and...
You were the one telling me that was too much.
I said I don't think you should get a pet so straight away, but here we are.
I'm still trying to tame the crows.
Yeah, see, that's this thing where she wants to tame every wild thing that walks on her front lawn. So
it's like the Puerto Rican Snow White. I don't see what the problem is.
The problem is why, out of all the things to do, why you want just random...
I could be doing crack, but I'm not.
That's not the same.
So just because I'm taming crows and my black cat.
Did you really just compare?
You said you could be
taming wild animals to crack cocaine.
No, it's pick a habit. Well, am I going to be a crackhead?
How about neither?
Or am I going to tame animals and be friends with wildlife and be like a Snow White?
This is why. You are I'm convinced that you are a character that has been manifested into reality.
You manifested me because you picked me.
There's 15 different shows on the internet. Look, if anyone watches TV, right? Look at any look at the Goldbergs. Look at
First
Mindy
of all, these shows were created after I already existed, so therefore.
Yeah, so the Mindy Project, Mindy
Kaling.
Mindy Kaling was the Beverly Goldberg from the Goldbergs.
Because you're my schmoo.
Who else? Claire from Modern Family.
That's a crazy one.
How is it crazy? Oh, that's.
I love
one.
Claire.
That's the crazy
but
one.
But she's neurotic.
She said that herself. I ain't saying a
I
thing.
love Claire though.
She's funny. But like it's like yeah.
Melissa McCarthy.
No, Melissa might actually be you. I don't know how.
Oh my god, I can't wait to be her best friend in real life one day. I heard she lives in Atlanta. I should probably like, go find her, but then I don't want to go to jail.
Considering that you won't talk to, you really don't talk much. You don't hang out with like Miss Hostler. Like, considering you haven't done that yet.
I love Bex.
Considering you haven't done that yet, I feel like you need to work your way up. You have to work your way up to Melissa McCarthy.
No,
this cat,
no, I
and
don't.
now the
You
cat.
don't know my life. That's Inigo.
Yeah, now
that's Inigo Montoya.
And now you've brought the cat into the show. So this might get clipped. I don't know what's happening.
Why?
I said clipped.
That's your brother.
No, not cut out.
Oh.
Clipped as in like, it's pet. Okay.
Oh, so it's like that wasn't a cap.
That's not how that works.
That's not how that works.
No, it works.
Okay.
Half my audience is probably laughing or cringing right now.
You're cringing.
I'm not actually. I don't care. I don't care.
I know what it means. I just did that to be like a mom.
Yeah, right. Because that's.
Cause I'm not like a regular mom. I'm like a cool mom.
I'm sure you are. I'm sure.
You ever seen Mean Girls?
Yes, I've seen Mean
her.
Girls. I've seen many times. I've seen Mean Girls. I don't know why I've seen it so many times in my lifetime.
It's epic.
It's all right. I mean, I don't know.
You need to watch the Barbie movie. That was epic.
Why do I need to watch the Barbie
movie?
movie?
It's amazing writing. It's fabulous. I bet you $20 you'll like it.
I feel like
bet you $20.
I don't think the message of it is
it that you're not
good.
enough? Is that you don't have that Kenergy?
Definitely not a Ken. I'm like literally probably.
I
am probably the AI generated.
You're a Borican.
That is terrible. That was awful. And there's gonna be some friend of yours that's gonna laugh at this, and there's gonna be someone who laughs at it, and you're genuinely laughing, which is what's making this terrible. And someone's gonna laugh at that, and someone's gonna laugh at that, and they're gonna be in the comments about that was funny, and it wasn't.
It was hilarious.
Oh,
you just don't appreciate a good dad joke.
No, it's dead humor. It's dead. It's
not. It's funny.
It's funny.
Yes.
To who?
It's on your face.
Okay, this is also part of it, where it's all leaving in. This is all giving in. Yep.
No, it's not. You're gonna edit this.
No, I'm not. I would be a liar if I did, and I'm not a liar.
No cap.
Stop. That's not a thing. That's not a thing. That's not.
I'm not capping.
I don't think.
You know what cap meant in the 90s?
What did it mean?
It means I was gonna bust a cap in your ass like a gun.
Yeah. All right.
That's why we're gangsters.
We can talk about that. We can talk about the slang. What's some slang that's like changed?
All of it's changed.
No, but I mean like specifically that you guys use.
I'm not. Why are you making me feel so 1900s?
It's not. First of all, y'all say nine. First of all, you and Derek came up with 1900s. I did not say that.
I was born in 1979.
But I'm talking about like something that you remember actively
when I was
using
like your
a lot,
age?
and then you've heard it like a variation of it come back and be like it's used differently, or like a word like that's.
What was that thing we said today? There was something today. No. There was something today, and I was like, no.
I probably wasn't there for that.
No,
actually.
I was having a conversation with you, and I was like, well, to me that means this, and then you were like, no, but to us it means this. What was it?
Brown nosing?
Yes.
I might also just be stupid. So let me hold up. Let me just Google it.
No, brown nosing.
Define brown nosing.
Oh God, please don't go to
Urban Dictionary.
No, because it's gonna ruin your life.
Oh, what images?
No.
Curry favorite acting in someone in a. See what's wrong with this? Is what's wrong with
Go down.
This is what's wrong with Bing is that you have to Google for the definition of the definition to get the word.
Bing,
I turned on Microsoft Edge. It's not my fault.
To try too hard to please somebody, especially in someone in a position of authority. Now, what does Urban Dictionary say?
Define. Okay, we're gonna go to Urban Dictionary.
God, I'm so scared of this.
Urban.
It's gonna be something filth.
It is.
And then we're gonna get banned.
I'm not gonna get banned. I've had Alex on here enough time to where whatever you think you can say, it's
because
nothing.
He's a crazy white boy. Crazy white boys can say whatever they want. We've already talked about that.
If you say
no, don't read that. Nope. No, don't read that. Turn that off. No. Get off of Urban Dictionary. That's just foul. Turn it off.
Oh, that's great. Feel free to look it up.
No.
I'll leave a link to Urban Dictionary down below. No, I won't.
Things are just... Better left not read.
We love Urban Dictionary, man. We love it.
You ever looked your name up in Urban Dictionary?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like...
I appreciate that people just know I'm amazing no matter what dictionary we're looking up in. And
I feel like every name has that, though. Every name has the...
Does it, Jan?
Yes.
No.
Trust me, I looked up probably every name that existed in the English language.
But my name's better on there.
If you say so. I wouldn't remember. I haven't done it since middle school. Back to slang terms.
Slang terms. I can't think of any that are being used now. I mean, we use... When I was like your age, it was, shit, I don't know, man. It was like the 90s, man. I don't remember. Like...
Gen X.
Are you really
slang.
gonna look up Gen X slang? Like...
You absolutely right, because guess what? You probably did this. And you probably went on top 10 slang terms.
What?
Between 1961 and 1981. Are you agree with
That's
that?
That's not true, because that means Letha's Gen X. I mean, she is kind of Gen X.
Letha was also... That's my grandmother, obviously. But, like... What does Gen X mean from a guy? Okay, this thing is useless to me.
That's lame. That's because you went to like a boomer website that told what does Gen X say? They hate us. We don't exist. You can't find anything on Gen X because we are like the forgotten generation.
Y'all say that, but you say that, but y'all keep talking about how you're forgotten by making y'all like the most notarized.
Y'all bring us into the chat.
No,
we're over here like
I don't keep up with the generation stuff.
Listening into real good music. And then the boomer millennial
every generation says that.
And we're just back
every
here
generation
like,
says
no,
that.
that's not true.
Every generation says that.
No, it doesn't.
Every generation says that.
No, it doesn't.
Every single one.
No, they don't.
How?
They literally, like, on news things, they forget about us. They, like, will put, they'll talk, they'll list all the generations, and then Gen X is nowhere on there. But that's fine.
Where do you look? Where do you look?
We are the forgotten. Literally, that's why they call it the forgotten.
I'm not
plus
saying
we were latchkey kids. Plus, our parents were never around. They had like commercials and stuff that.
I'm just
like,
saying.
Do you know where your children are? Or and then they had commercials like "Do not beat your children" and stuff.
True.
But and then they were like, we lived in like perpetual stress that we were either always going to be offered really good drugs, and a white man was always going to come kidnap us, which is why I think I have this like. Stress that you're always going to be kidnapped because it was ingrained in me as a child.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you that the only time I got offered real drugs was when I went to Mexico. I'm like, the hell, I'm taking cocaine to Mexico and going to like locked up abroad.
You took a lot of pride in that.
I did. I dared to say no. Nancy Reagan would be proud.
Oh my god. But like, watch. There's gonna be a lot of. There's gonna be a lot of people from.
Reagan's a little suspect.
There's gonna be a lot of people from your generation.
Sus.
Sure. I hate that. That's terrible. But no, I've heard. Watch, there's gonna be a bunch of people from your generation who's gonna be like, "What are you talking about?
Who cares?
We've never dealt with that. I think you're just traumatized."
If there's one thing that we all definitely have is
also I think you guys think you have like a much more unique experience than you guys actually do.
We're way cooler than half of everybody.
I'm just saying, it's like Gen X has these experiences. I'm like, I lived all of that.
Okay, that's because you know why?
I'm like, I lived all of that. That's bollocks. It's bollocks. Bollocks.
You lived that because you were raised by a Gen Xer. And so that's why you were
because there was a lot of things that you said specifically that you're like, yeah, we should have let that die. And I'm like,
I know
that happened.
You don't understand that a lot of things I was doing was not like.
Go on, say legal. Say legal.
Within legal parameters.
So say legal.
I mean, I babysat at 7 to 9. I think it was okay if you got off the bus at 8 and waited for me like an hour till I got home instead of me spending $400. Like, stupid. Did you die?
I don't disagree with that. But the thing is, I had to convince you to do that.
That's not true.
That is very true.
That's not true.
Are you serious right now?
I just didn't want you to get kidnapped.
Are you serious right now? I was bigger than whatever kidnapper that you thought was gonna happen by like age 10.
We live in Atlanta. Trafficking is major.
We were in Dunwoody though at the time.
No, here we were here.
That makes it even worse.
I have a fan club and I don't need them finding me.
Wait, we don't live in Dunwoody anymore. Good luck finding the.
True.
Good luck finding it. I guess you're not gonna find it anywhere. I didn't even tell my neighborhood. Good luck.
Please don't.
Have fun with that. I guess.
I don't need paparazzi stalking me.
What does Gen X mean in slang, and how do you?
No, that's just asking what the word Gen X means.
Okay, well,
you didn't look up like.
We're gonna Google image of this.
90s slang.
God, they look chuggy. Is that a thing?
What?
That sounds like a slur.
I don't know what the hell that is.
Cheugy. That sounds like a slur. I feel like I just got
Why
my.
are you still on Bing?
It's okay. It's the default. It's the default.
It's like you're asking Jeeves at the beginning of the internet because you're so old. Like, get off of it. He's older than me. I don't give a shit. Michael has always been older than me. You can't even lie.
That's it depends.
I call him Methuselah because
you along with every friend I have just clowns me for being old, which doesn't make any sense. Now you're using Bing, and it's the default thing that pops up.
Hold on,
oh God!
Like, hold on, Bing people. If you guys are looking for people to I'm not knocking you.
You've used Bing.
Google. What?
That's this. Okay, says the one
Bing
who won't. You won't touch an Apple phone. You know,
I will not.
You turn into an old. No. You turn to 70.
No, it doesn't make any damn sense to own any Apple products.
You want to see her regress in age? Hand her an iPhone.
No.
Hand her an iPhone.
No.
Hand her an iPhone. Hand her an iPhone.
No, you know what it is. What you're not going to do is tell me what to do, which is very on brand for Gen X, all right? And then Apple is like, phone. If you use this, you have to use this, and you have to do this. You ain't gonna tell me what I gotta do.
That's like every device ever.
And does your phone do this?
But you know what? It's easier to find, and when you lose it in your pockets for 10 times.
I lose a lot.
All right, here.
But it's heavy. I can throw it at somebody.
Mental floss. This surely has to be from your people.
What?
Noob. That's from your people.
Noob. You don't noob. No, let's take a guess. You know what noob means?
Like you're new. Like you're new to something. Yeah, that's never changed.
Because you were probably there reincarnated in the 90s because you're so old.
Oh my God.
You were probably like 80 in the 90s.
That's 110%. That is not a slang.
Used that one.
Bada bing.
That's from a stupid show.
That's Italian. That's
that was from The Sopranos.
Okay.
Which I didn't
really Sopranos, which debuted in 1999.
Right. I was watching Oz at the time.
You definitely used Buzzkill. You've used You're such a buzzkill. I hear your voice saying it. You've definitely used it a couple times.
Look, I may be pumpkin spice basic, but I am not buzzkill basic.
Harsh. You use harsh.
I mean, clueless, yeah.
Oh my God, I don't even know what it's. Okay, was it
Clueless? That's one of my costumes for Dragon Con.
I didn't know that.
As if.
You never told me that. You never told me your costume.
No, that's literally a line from the movie.
So funny. Wow.
Nobody used that. I don't care.
What,
that word,
jiggy?
It's like Will Smith tried to make fetch a thing, and he was like, no one said jiggy.
People said jiggy.
No, they
getting
not
jiggy
cool
with
people.
it.
No, that's his song. He was trying to make it popular. Stupid.
Nah.
See? Nobody said jiggy.
Judgy.
Judgy.
Is that really slang or is it just a word?
Yeah, it's judgy. Quit being so judgy.
I feel like that's a word though. Is that not a word?
Now, because it's made it into the lexicon.
Was metrosexual? Are you
I used to call what's his name upstairs. They're metrosexual. He hates it.
What? Are they attracted to trains? What is it like?
What? No, it was like it was kind of like where they dressed really nice. It was like straight men who dressed really nice and who were like, but you kind of like you dressed too nice where you could kind of be a little gay, but not. But it became metrosexual because back then, we were allowed to say stuff like that.
Okay. So basically, if you cared about fashion as a guy,
yeah, then they were like, you're like, and you did.
You might be a little bit.
like if I could show you what he's metrosexual, I don't care.
This is insane.
Come fight me, bro.
Okay.
I was there.
All right, majorly.
That's Clueless.
So would I be a metrosexual by technicality?
No.
I don't believe I would either.
No, you're just like, dude.
Very true.
You're so dude.
I don't even know what that means though, because I'm not.
Dude.
I'm not, but
wait, is that not correct to say now? I'm like, dude, you're such a dude.
I don't know what that means. Actually, it depends because the dude what is your
very heteronormative? Is that the right word?
That it sounds like a spell, and I'm not gonna just. What does it mean by dude though? What does that mean?
Like dude, like a dude, like a guy, like a dude. You're just like dude, like dude. I've always called you dude. That's a slang I used that from back then, dude.
That's never changed, majorly.
I remember one time when you were little, being like, Michael, quit calling people dude. Ask their names, and you were like, hey, dude, what's your name? And I was like,
I mean, it's better than just being like, hey, you. Like, it's just.
I know. It's better. The bad thing is you got dude from me, so that was my fault. Ooh, a skeezy. Yeah, such a skeeze.
Yeah, this is Freddie Mercury.
Oh, Freddie Mercury's epic, man. Have you really ever listened to Freddie Mercury?
Yes.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I don't know. You guys got really mad at me when I said Bohemian Rhapsody was overrated. It was though overplayed.
Did I ever tell you were adopted?
No, listen.
Mom.
It's a classic, but I think for the amount of times I've heard it,
it's an epic. Oh my god.
For the amount of times it's been played.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The amount of times
because you were there when it was created, you old ass. And you've heard it more than the rest of the world. You probably helped him write it.
No, I'm just saying, like,
it's a 10-minute song.
Exactly, and listen. I'm all for 10-minute songs. I listen to Station to Station by David Bowie, like casually, but it's so overplayed at this point, and people are like, it's like the best song ever. And I'm like,
it's an amazing arrangement.
I can appreciate the artistry and the composition of it, but I think it's like it isn't aging.
Shut up.
Like.
Shut up.
No, I just think it's overplayed.
Just shut up. How is it overplayed? Shut up.
It is overplayed.
Were you there when it came out on Wayne's World? No. Then it's shut up.
Look,
it hasn't even been played since you.
Y'all can get mad at me. I'll debate you in the comments. I don't care.
No. It's Bohemian Rhapsody.
That was actually good.
Was dope.
That was good. That was actually good. That was good. Cool. If y'all know what I'm talking about, watch the Goldbergs, Bohemian Rhapsody.
Rhapsody.
That was dope.
That was so cool.
Spousal unit.
That's like wife.
Oh God, you guys really are emo because the same thing as like parental figure. Like,
yes, that was us.
Because you guys wanted to because you're emo. It's ridiculous. Talk to the hand. Yeah, that's definitely
because the face don't want to hear it.
Yeah,
verklempt. I'm verklempt.
That sounds disgusting.
Sit amongst yourselves and talk.
That sounds disgusting.
That was Linda Richmond from
SNL.
From SNL.
Yeah,
when
the clip is popping up. Yeah, the guy SNL.
Yeah, when SNL was good.
Bling.
Bling bling. No.
Billboard hit from the song. You guessed it. Bling bling.
Yeah.
BG. Yada yada yada.
That's from Seinfeld. I never really like Seinfeld.
I can't.
I was like, it's an old show, but everyone loves it. But I hated it. Booyah. Yeah,
Booyah.
I've said that.
Chillax.
You've said chillax.
You've said chillax.
No, that's lame.
You've said chillax. You've said chillax.
When?
Multiple times.
You need to effing chill out.
No.
You take a chill pill.
Chillax, homie.
Take
That's
a chill pill.
That
I
is.
Never said chillax. I never said chillax. You need to relax.
You've never said relax ever in your life like that.
No, because relax actually starts a fight. You tell someone to relax, or me.
I feel like it's a girl thing. You tell a girl to calm down. It's bad.
It just means ramp it up.
Yeah, that's one of the
ramp it up.
Yeah, gastropub.
Don't know what that is.
That sounds.
That's from the UK.
I've heard that. It is, yeah, UK through the decade, termly describing combining frou-frou food gastronomy with a scuffed up neighborhood feel. The pub. Oh, wait, I know what that is. Okay, info ban.
Nope, don't know what that is.
That sounds familiar.
Does it?
Yeah.
Were you there?
Shut up.
With Al Gore inventing the internet? Is that the fact that you know what I'm talking about?
No, it's called I read. That's all it means. It's not.
Yeah.
Not with an explanation point that you guys invented that. You guys invented not with a punctuation.
No, because you'd say something and you'd be like, not. But that was stupid. I was like 12.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was 13 when that one came out.
Pomo.
Don't know what that is.
What?
I didn't go to college. I don't know what that is.
Pomo? What does that mean?
Never heard of that word. That's so stupid. What do you like?
It's short for postmodernism?
No.
That's a nerd.
Whatever. That's what people who took liberal arts in college talk.
You know what? There's
they waste their parents' money. What do you go to school for? Liberal arts. Shut the fuck up. I would have fought you if you would have came here and been like, I'm forcing you to go to college. And the major is you're like, Mom, I'm going to be liberal arts. I'm like, I'm going to put my liberal ass, my foot up your just liberal arts. No, it's called wasting your parents' money.
No, it's called political science. I would do that. There's someone watching this getting very offended.
You can talk to Gen Z about that because I don't give a what.
Regift, regifter, or regifted.
Yeah, that's just regifting.
Okay, all right. Wicked.
That's like if you're from Boston. Like you're wicked smart. That's wicked cool. But I'm not from Boston. I'm from.
Alex hates that I use the unironically ill.
I like to use that one. So it reminds me of Illmatic. Which have you heard that album with Nas?
Yes.
It's one of the most epic albums ever.
I didn't realize how many like classic songs I've heard before off of that one, but it was pretty solid.
Oh, no, it's one of the best MCs of all time.
Pretty solid. We can talk about that. We can talk about that in terms of hip hop. Who you say is who's on your Mount Rushmore?
See, man, who's on my what?
Mount Rushmore. Like if you had to pick like the Mount, you know what Mount Rushmore is, obviously. But I'm saying like if you had to for hip hop.
How dare you compare hip hop to colonialism?
This
my
is
top.
wrong with you. This is what's wrong with people.
No, we can talk about my top albums like of all time that
you
are
can do that.
all hip hop, or like we
can
talk about hip hop.
You can talk about your personal one.
But see, a lot of people might not even like. See, I was into hip hop, like East Coast underground type hip hop. Like I used to go. I had a friend who lived up north, and I'd go visit him and stuff like that. We'd go to shows and we'd listen to music, or he'd send me mixtapes of like undercover albums and things like that. So back then, I was really into the Boot Camp Clique with Duck Down Productions, and my favorite group at the time was Smith and Wesson. Awesome. Bucktown, Soundboy Burial, Let's Get It On. I mean, that whole album to me was just amazing. And then, of course, Helter Skelter. The whole Duck Down Boot Camp Clique, I got to meet them. I got some cool pictures with them and stuff like that. It was really awesome. And then I was really big into Nas. I liked EPMD. I liked Rakim. I liked Keith Murray. I loved Redman, Method Man, the Wu-Tang. I loved, of course, you got your classics like Lauryn Hill. Tribe Called Quest is one of my all-time favorites. I loved the more obscure ones like Nine and Jaber the Damager and, different things like that. It was mainly more East Coast. If I had to pick a side during that stupid war, it was all about East Coast, but I really wasn't a fan of Biggie. I thought Biggie was all right. I thought he was very pop.
What do you think about Tupac in comparison?
I didn't care about either one of them.
Mm.
I did. They were so mainstream at the time that I was like,
I think
they have bangers. They have like songs that I like, but I never bought a Tupac album and I never bought a Biggie album.
I don't think they would be like when people were putting them on like they're the goats. I'm like
nah.
They didn't respectfully. They didn't.
For the time,
they weren't a lot. They didn't do enough to be like.
Right, and here's the thing: I was into conscious rap at the time, so I liked like Common, Bahamadia, things like that. So I didn't care about Gucci belts, and I still don't, and about like cars and flashy things and that whole P Diddy crap.
There's some good though. There are some good songs on that.
No. They're cool. But here's the thing: there's music that's made for clubs, there's music that's made for radio, and then there's music that you find on your own that you're like, this is what talks to me, and this is where I'm at in my stage of life or whatever. And it was cool. I'd go to parties. I knew I can sing any of those songs right now. I mean, but I was really more into the underground stuff. I remember even hearing Eminem before he came out, and it was on his tape. And I remember my friend Stroke at the time sent me a tape, and he was like, "You got to hear this White Boy," and I was like, "That's not a white boy, what?" And then I was listening, and it was when Slim Shady. That's when he says, "The 9 Inch Nails in my alley." Yeah, that one.
The Slim Shady.
Yeah, so he had, it was an underground copy. It was a mixtape. I have it upstairs somewhere. And they were like, "There's this white boy. He's up, from Midwest or something." And I was like, "What? No." And then we heard it, and I was like, "All right, that guy's nuts." And then like a year later, turning on MTV, and I was like, "Wait, I have a tape of him before he became famous." So
imagine he sees this.
What's up, Marshall? How you doing?
Oh my god!
Now that he's sober,
he's still
he's actually turned out to be amazing.
He's my goat. People don't like that.
I love Eminem. Like, here's the thing: I don't think he gets the respect that he deserves, and I think if anything, he's actually one of the greatest rappers in the history of rap. I mean, it's just.
I think,
and they don't give him the credit that he deserves that way.
I don't think that they don't give his credit because he's white.
Because he's white and it's stupid.
And they're like, oh, it's a black thing. Because the whole argument, I guess, because he's like the top selling artist in hip hop ever. They're like, because he's white. And I said he had
to earn it.
That's what I said.
Because Vanilla Ice was white and he's not doing it.
My counter argument always is just like, is there an initial thing of like, holy crap, there's a white boy good at rapping? There's an initial push of like, that's insane,
right.
But then to have the 20+ year career across generations generations.
Yes, because that's the other thing. It's like, I listened to Eminem when he came out, And here you are 18 years later listening to Eminem like we listen to Snoop. Like those are artists that like transcended like generations, which is cool as shit. But no, I think Eminem is just, he's right up there. I think they need to give him his place because
I put him up there on my list. He's like I have him and I have honestly Kanye. I think Kanye is very underrated as a rapper. Some of the lines he's what? One of the most iconic lines ever in rap is he couldn't afford a car, so he named your daughter Alexis. That's great. That is fantastic.
No, Kanye, I think he's definitely one of the greats of our time. I hate that everything else has overshadowed it.
Yeah.
Not my business.
I think he's one of the.
I'm not going to analyze him like that. I wasn't there, don't know what's happening. But
I think on an artist level,
he's a genius.
I think he's one of the greatest artists because he's literally been on everything.
Yeah, I mean Kanye's Kanye, man. He's Kanye. There's no other Kanye. You got your greats out there, and he's one of them.
Yeah. Who would you say is someone that you've seen like the closest to Michael Jackson since Michael Jackson, obviously, but
like Prince? Or you mean now?
So, like anyone from who you've seen come like that would be anywhere that.
I mean, you have these geniuses. You have Michael Jackson. You've got Prince. Mm-hmm. You know, you've got. I mean, I'm trying to think of like.
Well, people tend to like lump them around like the same era. But I'm saying like in terms of like more modern, who was the closest? Because some people have like there hasn't been anyone close, like in terms of the all around talent.
Everything is so lazy right now. Everything is like, here's the thing. It's like, like you've put me on to like Tyler the Creator and like, even Kanye and all this stuff. They all have their genius about them. Mm-hmm. But the thing
Tyler
is,
could be up there with Kanye. I think
you've got people like Prince who played all these instruments and they wrote and composed for all these people and things. I mean, that's a whole different talent. You've got, Michael Jackson who, I mean, those are one of the kind type of things that once in a lifetime type people. Luckily, when I grew up, we got a lot of once in a lifetime people, and I think our music is definitely a whole lot better than the crap we hear now. And that makes me feel old just by what? Why are you yelling at me?
I think he wants to get out the cats. But like, who would you say would be like the most modern version of like one of a kind artist?
I don't know right now.
Right now, I think there's Tyler. I think you don't like him. Prime Drake was great.
I hate Drake.
Prime Drake was fantastic.
I've never liked Drake.
I respect it.
I was like...
Kendrick Lamar, which for someone who likes conscious rap, Kendrick is arguably the best rapper out right now. Please don't let him jump on the computer. But yeah, there's Kendrick. There's J. Cole, which I'm like, I feel like you like J. Cole, but J. Cole I feel like is very overrated in my opinion. But he's great. I like his stuff. You don't like Future? I love him. Future's fantastic.
It's not that I don't like him. It's just like
Future's.
I think somewhere in there I just got bored. Everything just started sounding
the
same. Like it was like, oh, that's great. Your mom obviously told you were great every day of your life.
But at the same time, you could argue that. I feel like you could argue that with like honestly, like with every generation of music.
Yeah,
like the trap music was a thing, but for y'all, it was the boom bap. That was everything, was still the. It was the same drum rhythm. But it's all, but
that
there
was like 80s, but yeah.
No, what was it for? What would you say was it for 90s then?
What defined our generation? We unfortunately were stuck in the middle of like, well, it was conscious rap and gangster rap.
Yeah.
And then it moved into the whole when hip hop crossed over a lot into pop and R&B, and they had a lot of remixes and crossovers. That was the late 90s. So. There's a lot of good songs that came out of there. Like Mariah Carey had a bunch of remixes after she left Tommy Mottola and, got put on with Puffy and then came out with some really good albums. That's Mariah Carey. She's amazing. So
You can't believe how much money she makes off every year off of Christmas. Like,
I'm not even mad at her.
I can't believe that. I hate that song so much.
Isle of Mariah. They said she was my first tape. When I was 10 years old, I was in Puerto Rico and I asked for 3 tapes for Christmas. I asked for Mariah Carey's. I asked for Paula Abdul, and I asked for Janet Jackson, and I got these tapes. But Mariah Carey was on. I remember being like in the 6th grade, and I was like singing "Someday" to like some kid who like liked me, and I was like, "You were so blind to let me go," and he's like, "I'm like 10," and I'm like, "You had it all, but," and I'm like, Because, girls have passion. Sorry, Chris Guadalupe. Sorry.
Well, one person that I think is underrated that doesn't get talked about enough for me personally is Akon. I love Akon.
He's a nice guy. When I worked at the hotel over the pandemic, he had some electricians or something like that working at his house. And he personally would come and pick up the workers from the hotel and then bring them back and stuff like that. And
really?
They said he was an awesomely nice guy. So
who's because you worked in the hotel industry obviously for like 24 years?
24 years. And I left a year ago. Best decision ever.
What would you say? Who's the most famous person you've met? Like, obviously, I know part of the job is to not be like, oh my god.
Most famous favorite or most? I met
in general.
I met a lot of people. Now that I don't work there, I could say. My least favorite was actually one of the Backstreet Boys. He showed up, and his mom was staying at the hotel, and we were like, the hotel was really empty. It was really quiet that day. And he came up, and I looked, and I was like, oh my god. And the girl next to me was like a big Backstreet Boys fan, where I was more like in sync. But we went to approach him, and he was just not friendly at all. And I get it. I mean, it's his personal space and time, and his mom was there and whatever, but he didn't. It's like, whatever, dude. NSYNC was better. And then Leonard Skinner was amazing. They when they came and toured, they were awesome. My favorite, though, believe it or not, and it's not the band, it was actually the roadies for Slipknot. So when they came to the hotel, when I tell you the most amazing stories, the most kind-hearted group, clean, respectful, awesome, and you would think, as you're thinking Slipknot, you know, and it's like, best roadies ever. Let's see, we've had Clint Black over the years. Natasha Bedingfield was so super nice. I had seen her perform the night before when I went to go see New Kids on the Block, and she was staying at our hotel. And she came up and noticed that we, because we're not allowed to approach people working there, and we can't tell people that they're staying there. So she came up and she noticed that we noticed her, and then she actually was like, would you like a picture? And we were like, yeah, because she was just starting out, so it was really cute. So she was awesome.
Did you say Whitney Houston ran through the hotel, or someone ran through the hotel?
So I wasn't there, but Whitney Houston, when she was dating Bobby Brown, my boss at the time, was there, and she came running through the lobby. Now, this is a story that he's told over the years. But I guess at hotels anything happened. But yeah, she was running through the lobby and she was like, Bobby, 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 And Bobby was allegedly upstairs with some ladies and the rest of his crew. Now, I don't know what he was doing. That's up to them. But she demanded to have a key to go up to the room. And of course, we can't do that. We can't give out keys. We can't give out room numbers. So he called the room and was like, hey, we've got Whitney down here. And he said it was so surreal because he was like, what? I'm telling Whitney Houston she can't have a key to the room. So he sent his bodyguard down to calm her down, and he sent her home. And then they checked out right after that. So because they lived up the street. They have a house up the street from the hotel that I worked at. And then later on, Bobby Christina, she had actually the last house that she lived at was up the street. And we actually had the people from her funeral and stuff like that stay at our hotel. So you just see all kinds of celebrities all the time. I was never there to check him in, but I was always told that Usher sometimes would come by the hotel just to kind of get away or whatever. I never saw that, though. I never saw Usher there. But we're in Atlanta, so anybody walks in. Like I said, Akon had people working and staying at the hotel. You'd be surprised.
I can't remember who I met. I don't know. I only met Florida. Did I ever meet? I don't never flew that Florida Georgia line, but I know you worked.
We went to go see Florida Georgia line because we got free tickets.
Yeah.
You got to see a lot of things. Blues Traveler.
Yeah.
Because I would get free tickets to go see shows and stuff like that. So you got to see Blues Traveler. You got to see I can't think of Mark McGrath perform. We had to see some pretty cool bands because, I would get free tickets to go see stuff. So, I can't think of all the artists I've met throughout the years. But nobody was outright awful. I don't have any horrible, stories, no diva stories or anything. I always, later on when it came time to booking, I would book the roadies because the roadies were less maintenance than the artists. And I would rather have roadies at my hotel than have the actual artists. Because I just kind of didn't want to be let down if I liked an artist and they were a jerk. So I would purposely bid on the roadie part of the travel and let them go stay at the Ritz or something like that, and I had the rest of their crew staying at my hotel. So
that's interesting.
It was cool. We just could never talk about it. we could never tell people about it, so it was cool until after, and then it's like, oh yeah. But now it's Atlanta, and I mean, you can see anybody at the grocery store, so it really doesn't even matter anymore. Like,
I've actually never. The thing is, like, everybody's seen celebrities. I've never like met one.
when I moved here, I met Chris Tucker. I was at the Lenox Mall, and I was buying an album, and he was here, and he said something to me about the album. I was looking at Erykah Badu's album or something, and he looked at it, and I looked at him because I'm stupid, and I was like, I think I went to high school with that guy or something because he looked familiar. And I leave, and then all of a sudden I hear people running towards the place, and they were like, Chris Tucker, and then I was like, oh.
So you,
and then I kept walking.
you and Derek are the same. Y'all don't get impressed by anybody. It's so funny.
I mean, because they're normal people.
They are. No, to be fair, I don't get impressed by anybody. Like, I don't know, people, like the Harlem Globetrotters thing was probably the closest.
Harlem Globetrotters was really
that
cool.
was the closest I ever got to like really
awesome.
famous people.
Yeah, they're cool. I mean, that's the thing. It's just they're normal people. There's nothing. I'm not impressed by money. I'm not impressed by fame or anything else like that. I mean, it's just at the end of the day, I think everyone just wants that human connection, and so like I'm not gonna fangirl. Now, I say that, and I'm trying to think of like who I would totally like fangirl over, but Maxwell, definitely my girl Brit. But
I'm gonna say Brittany. I'm like
Brittany. Yeah, I just kind of want to know what's happening there. Like I feel like I should drive to her house and be like, come here. We're not doing this.
Yeah, y'all were like free Britney, and now it's
I know,
free.
and I was really big on that Free Britney campaign, and I'm like, put her back. I love Brit. Like, I think we would have been best friends. Like, we're from the South, and I like Cheetos. I like being barefoot. I put you on my hip a couple times walking up the street barefoot, and your father hated it. I put you in my lap and drove up to the mailbox once. But did you die? No.
Sure. We'll go with that.
It was real classy. It was the 90s. I mean, we were walking around. I mean, no, it was the 2000s.
Yeah, you definitely, you've lived a life.
I've lived an amazing life.
Yeah, feel free to detail it from the beginning.
From what? What do you want to know?
I don't know, just like chronologically from like the places you moved, places you've lived.
Full skull and 7 years ago.
Yeah, because you grew up military.
I grew up military. My dad was in the Air Force. He served for 27 years. So I was born in Puerto Rico. And then from there we went to, my brother and I were born in Puerto Rico. And then we went to Washington State and lived there. And that's where my sister was born. And then we were flown across the world to Germany, where we lived for a while. Then from Germany we went down to New Mexico and lived there. And then my dad moved to Iceland for a year, and then we went back to Puerto Rico to live. And then we ended up in Niceville, Florida. And we didn't move after that because my dad just ended up doing tours and everything else like that so we could graduate from the same school, because he grew up Army, so he knew what it was like to not have any friends and connections. So he sacrificed a lot so that we could stay in a school. And then I left on my 6 days after my 21st birthday, which coincidentally ended up being the day you would have been born 4 or 5 years later, which is cool. So I moved on September 28th, 2000. And I turned 21, and I got in a U-Haul, and my best friend and I moved up here to Atlanta, and we didn't know anybody, and went to art school, and then I got pregnant, and bought this house on my lunch break later, and then here we are.
You should probably tell them who your dad actually. That's Appa. For those. Yeah.
Wait, what?
You should probably tell them.
Oh, Appa, my dad.
Yeah, that's who. Because you say who it is.
I mean, I only have one dad.
Well, you know, but they didn't know that. So some people can't.
Appa's my dad. He's been on the show before.
Yeah, some people can't connect the dots.
So I am his oldest child. I am a big sister of. I've got a brother and a sister, and nieces and nephews, and all that. We've got a pretty cool family.
Yeah,
they're crazy. They're all nuts, but I love them. I'm nuts. Yeah. I mean, how's it been growing up? Raised by me and raised by the family.
It's been interesting. It's been fun. It's been interesting. It's definitely feels very movie-like at times.
I really don't understand why you guys keep saying that this is a whole character thing.
It is. It's a whole movie thing. It is. A lot of it is a movie. You gotta think about it. Yeah, think about it. We'll just go about the whole, like, bullying thing. Oh, I was being bullied mercilessly from 6th to 8th grade. 6th grade, they're like Globetrotters say, we're going to show up to your school. 7th grade, they say, we're going to put you in a book. And then 8th grade, they're just like, hey, there's like 10 people we want to like film, but we're only going to pick 3. Do you want to be considered? And then we get to be like...
Then they have a documentary made for you.
Yeah. So like that in itself...
That was your, like, 80s moment.
That in itself was a movie thing. And then we got invited to their personal training camp and saw like their show before it came out.
And they're amazing. They still keep in touch with you and stuff like that. And
yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. Life is short, right? It's short. Why not make it magical? As magical as you can make it. Have fun. Be in the moment. So yeah, you were having a hard time. I wrote a letter to the Globetrotters, and next thing you know, you have a documentary. I mean, you know, it's pretty normal. Here's the thing. Gen X and like myself, we were raised by like TV. So yeah, if your life looks like a movie or a show or whatever, then it's because that's what I was watching on TV.
And
but I have haters because of that.
Is there anything that I've done that you did not like, expect? Like
I expect anything. I mean, not anything like a bad way, but like.
Oh, like something that like a results.
Wash your face.
Results, nah, it's fine. Any results of like the podcast thing.
Let me tell you, you have been a pleasant surprise from birth. Like,
okay, it's cute from a mom thing,
no,
but like objectively.
No. You've always done really cool things. Like, for example, like first of all, you were born with your eyes open, and like you like looked up and were like, "What's up?" And I was like, "Oh." I didn't even get to have like this moment like mothers have where they're like, because they showed you to me, your eyes are open, and you were like, and you. I swear to God, you were like, and I just kind of was like laying back there, and I was like. And then they like took you away, and I was like, I think I just met my child. But you were walking. You were walking at 8 months, which is really creepy. I used to push you down and be like, don't do that. It's just like, I have this thing because of the 80s where I'm scared of like child actors and scary babies and scary children. And then here you walking around at 8 months. This does not sit right with me.
And I couldn't crawl.
He never crawled. He just stood up, started walking. And then like by 2, you literally knew over 200 dinosaur names, and where they landed, like what period they were in, and things like. I mean, it was insane. He would go to the museums and take encyclopedias to check the work at the museums, make sure they didn't screw it up.
Which they did a lot. They did.
And then you were always like, you were in the gifted program. You were always ahead of your time. You know, you took your SATs at 13. You know, you were always moving in a pace. When you were like 4 years old, you were like, my lifelong dream is to play a tuba. And I was like, what am I supposed to do with this? And, you know, sure enough, you showed up, and now you're like, you know, first chair. You know, all that. So I'm always being surprised because I try not to put that pressure on you where it's like, I expect him to be XYZ. So I just enjoy it. And then you show up with something, and I'm like, oh, that was cool. Now, I will say my favorite thing is this music and everything else like that, because you and I are so different from each other. But then the older you get, I realize, I used to always hate that, you know, we didn't look alike. You were much smarter than me. I didn't hate that, but like smarter in different ways. And so we had nothing in common. Like not in common, but you can be like, oh, that's Denise. Oh, that's Denise. He got that from Denise. Like none of that. But now that you're older and you're like I went to school for recording engineering. And so it's cool that my kid is going to school without me influencing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't like, oh, I went to school, you're going to do this. No, I was like, you just picked it. And I was like, oh, I love it too. And I love your love of music. I love that you love all kinds of music. I mean, we've always listened to everything. But the fact that you actually love music, and it's not just like one genre, it's everything. You know, the other day when you were talking last night about David Bowie, you know, and you said this whole thing, and I was like, it's fucking amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm very proud of you. And you're a good human. You're not a garbage, which was the main goal. Like,
appreciate it.
I appreciate you not being pure trash. So, and here's the thing, I know it wasn't easy. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I always told you all the time, I'm like, we got to figure this out because I don't know what's going on. So I always felt like you got the short end of the stick. So the fact that you turned out decent and normal and talented in spite of me not knowing what the hell I was doing. Because I was always worried that you were going to become like a serial killer or something like that because of me. So, but here we are.
Oh, you've done a good job. You've done a good job.
Good job.
What was your biggest surprise? I guess when I first told you, I guess the music thing specifically. Like obviously there's the bet you've been like seeing band, and then I come up to you one day during
band
the
was
pandemic.
cool, but it was during the pandemic when you were like, I'm starting a group.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, here we go. You know, and I remember dropping you off, and I was like, you know, whatever. If you love it, I love it. About, you know, whatever. And next thing you know, like 2 weeks later, you guys have mixed, mastered, and written a whole thing, and I was like, what?
Yeah. A month to the day, I told you we finished the Life of the Party.
And I love Life of the Party. I was in the car like, yo, you know. So I'm a big fan of your music. And I can't wait for this new one to come out. You said what, on the first, maybe?
It's just kind of, we're still waiting on it to get processed. There's a song that's just me. Obviously, for those who know, my promotion so far has been Superheroes, which is the Balance One song, which you've heard that.
Yes.
And you were like, that's okay. But this new one that I've worked on,
it's very different.
Very different. It's called Not a Word. I'm trying to get it cleared to get released. You know, so if it does get cleared, it should be out September 1st. But nothing. Once I have to get like the confirmation that's put, and then you'll get the release notification. I can't wait.
That one's gonna be amazing. I think that's where people are gonna see your growth, and that you can do different types of music. And it's I'm excited. But here's the thing. It's like, of course, I believe you. You started this upstairs in our dining room. You know?
No, but you didn't believe in this for a while.
That's not true.
That is true.
That is not true.
That is true.
That is not true.
That is very true.
No, it isn't. How are you gonna tell me it's true?
Because we had a discussion about it.
Bro.
We had a discussion about it.
As soon as you said I bought you that.
No, you wouldn't buy. You said you did not want to buy. You wouldn't buy a background because you were afraid I wouldn't use it. You didn't want.
Yeah, but then when I saw you were serious.
Yeah, I had to crunch 3 videos a day for a summer on top of math classes to prove the point.
And then what did I do after that? I showed up, and now the entire basement is your studio.
True, very true.
Okay.
Did you expect meeting people and like the show thing, like the Caroline Riley, like that's weird to me. I think it's like they're probably watching. Hello, it's weird to me. What? It's real. I think she might be dropping. I don't know when she's dropping another song, but I'm gonna go. She's performing.
Yes, so
she's performing 24th and 30th, and I'm gonna go see that. So,
but
Masquerade and Smorgasbord Bar.
Yeah,
6 days apart.
And 24th down there or something.
Oh, I promote her all the time,
but like,
awesome. But like, it's weird that became a thing. Like that was a thing.
Oh, it was so cool. Let me tell you, when it turned was when like I'm used to being the cool one that's like, oh, we're gonna go to the music. I got tickets here. We're gonna do this. And then it switched, and one day you were like, yeah, I got like a table.
Oh, when I won the tickets. Oh yeah, when I won the tickets.
And then I'm like, well, take some friends. And he's like, yeah, you want to come? And I'm like, yeah, I want to go with your mom. And then it was like, yay. And then, you know, I'm like, this is cool. Like, now we're both cool.
Yeah, I would say that, like, I definitely...
Until you were like, Mommy! Like, across the room. And I'm like, yes, that is a grown-ass 45-year-old looking man-child yelling for his mom across the room.
When did I do that?
You were at the merch table. And
I just said mom. I said mom. You were like, stop calling me that. Yeah. I said mom. I didn't even say...
Cool, dude. Oh, no, that was at the first show that we went. When I was like, go backstage, go do this.
Well, because I was like...
Mommy! And I was like...
I didn't do that.
And then you were like, yes, you did. And then you were like, Mom, you want to come over to the merch table and like meet someone's parents? And I was like, dude,
because they wanted to meet you.
I can't get it, but it's
because you're the most social. No, you're the most social antisocial person ever. You want to go see people and meet people, but when I put you in the situations to meet people, you're like, you freeze up. So I have to like hold your hand over and bring you over to people. It's not me.
But I throw the most epic parties, which is why it's a conundrum.
That's why it makes no sense.
I throw some good parties.
Like, I think that's still a weird moment for me where I walk, because I was walking with Loretta to the merch table, and then they were just like, I know you, and I'm like, what? Who are you? And they're like, well, we're parents. I'm like, why are you watching my video?
Well, that's like when we went to the college tour, and we ended up seeing one of the girls at the next table that you had covered.
Oh, Makiba. Yeah, yes, I did do that.
She's
I
so
did.
Sweet.
Yeah, she's dope. I do talk to her from time to time. She's dope. But yeah, that was weird. Who else? I haven't met anybody. I've met Joe.
Met a couple.
I've met Josie one time. Who else? I haven't met anybody else. It was Caroline. It's been Caroline really a lot.
She's awesome.
I was supposed to see
Asher and like Mason.
I have met Asher.
Yeah.
I haven't met Mason.
Oh yeah, Mason. You're gonna meet Mason.
I'm going to show up to his
Yes.
his because I got his phone number though. I do have his number. We've talked a couple of times.
Okay. So yeah, we'll go to that
one of the
show.
people I reviewed, I actually met on Omegle that time we went up to the Poconos.
Oh, damn Amigo.
No, he was cool. Marlon Yoshi, the dude that played Nihilist.
Okay.
He was one of my early ones. But yeah, I met him. I didn't even know he was a musician.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I met him.
You've met some cool people. My favorite, I think, was when you did the Japanese King Nu. Is that what it was?
King Nu and on the. I think that video's out over 100,000 now.
That was a great video.
Which
I mean, that put me on. I learned a lot about new music through you, which is cool. You know.
Yeah, let me see. Because shout out to Ota. He's back in. He's so cool.
We need to send you out there.
It's at 98. Yeah, because I've done like what 3 or 4 videos with him.
Did you ever
now.
share that video on this page? Because it was really cool.
Yeah, I've shared it multiple times. Yeah. It's just most viewed videos.
Oh, there you go. 98,000.
98,000. Yeah, no, an article was wrote about it.
Yep, I saw that blog. Yeah,
which was wild.
So wild.
I couldn't believe it too. I couldn't believe that when that happened. But yeah, I don't know.
But I liked King Nu. I thought that was really
King
cool.
Nu was dope.
Here's the thing: because you love music so much, I want to send you I hope that there's a chance for you to study abroad, and I can figure it out and send you that way, and so you can actually see the world and I mean you love it. It's a dream come true.
I mean, I guess I'm just down to try things.
Yeah.
So
I like that about you.
I don't know. I think this is good. You've done good. You've done good here. Were you nervous to get on camera?
No, I'm fine on camera.
Because I know Appa was like.
No, here's the thing. I thrive in environments like this. I'm not nervous about that. I just don't like walking into rooms by myself. I always have to have a friend there. And then it takes me a minute to warm up to people because I'm observing them and things like that. And then sometimes, I'm like, my life is too short and these minutes belong to me and I don't want to waste it on you. So
you killed
Virgo.
all your momentum for the past 56 minutes.
That's the Virgo in me.
Oh God, damn with the zodiac.
No, but here's his tip, guys. Life is short. The minutes belong to you. They belong to nobody else. And if you don't want to do something, you don't want to eat something, you don't want to finish a movie, you don't want to finish reading that book, you don't have to. That's it.
Disclaimer: that is not an excuse to put up priorities, but
that's different.
That's why it's disclaimer.
He's such a grown-up. Who's the kid?
Considering that I left for a Halloween party and you and Derek went to go take photos on a giant pumpkin while he had his leg shattered.
Because I'm down for shenanigans.
But then we'll simultaneously complain about oh my God, people need to really just mature. I'm like,
we're not immature.
I'm not saying immature, but you'll be like, people need to mature better. Then you'll be do something.
And then
ridiculous.
You come downstairs and we both have giant bowls of cereal watching cartoons. And you're
okay, man, whatever
I'm gonna
works.
go work downstairs, and we're like, Scooby Doo is awesome, DuckTales. And we're like eating our cereal.
Yeah, man.
I mean, life's been good. What do you think about everything?
I think it's been fun. I think it's been interesting. Like I said, I really expected, in terms of, I've never had expectations for anything. I just let things happen, and things have been good.
Are you glad I forced you to go to college?
I think it has its benefits, and I think obviously I'll be able to tell when it comes to the fall. I think I'm open to I was open to trying it.
Yeah, I think you'll love it once you get into the music program
and that's when I had my fun moments in the summer semester, and
yeah, you know.
Okay, relax. They were wild.
Hashtag debauchery.
That
didn't
do that. It really wasn't. It wasn't. It just wasn't me. There were certain things that would get me demonetized if I talked about.
I was on drinking Mad Dog and Boone's Farm in the middle of
I wasn't. I wasn't.
He's like, yeah, sure, I didn't do anything. I'm like, sure did. No, I love that about you.
I'm like, I guess.
I don't want you to be like me. Then you end up pregnant. Love you. But ooh, that was fun. That was a ride.
Well, with that note, is there anything else that you want to talk about, or do you feel like this is a good note to leave off?
No, thank you. It's awesome to be on the show. I think next time we need to come with we need to do something where it's we're talking about we review a music
yeah.
You know, he did try one time to play all these Drake songs for me, and I was like, no.
That should have been a video. They really should have.
We could do
Drake hater. Charlie Trap.
It's just so basic.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. I'll leave a link down to the Instagram for go follow. She's awesome people. Be sure like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching the Smorgasbord Podcast, episode 69, where we talk about things uncensored, unedited, unfiltered. Stay safe. Take care. Love y'all. Bye-bye.
Bye.